Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr.
Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman.
A routine oversight hearing exploded into chaos when Congressman Thomas Massie accused Attorney General Pam Bondi of helping cover up key Epstein files. Massie claimed victims' names were exposed while powerful figures' identities remained hidden, and the exchange quickly spiraled into shouting and personal attacks.
Recognized.
May I respond very briefly to her statement?
Well, I think we can do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr.
Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
Kentucky. All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you
in.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
you need to get on
you to watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger
when
than
you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at
transparent-
what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired. She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, I would,
order.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to
Without
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection. Just want to check on how much time we have left in votes, but one thing I've learned here of late that they'll wait on us. How much time do we have? Oh, they just called. Okay. The chair now recognizes.
One of the most heated moments of the hearing came when Congressman Thomas Massie directly confronted Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Massie argued that the DOJ had failed to fully comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, pointing to several documents that he said illustrated major problems with the department's release of records. His first criticism focused on a document that, according to Massie, contained the names of Epstein survivors that should have remained confidential. He argued that releasing those names exposed victims to unwanted attention and placed them at risk, calling it one of the department's most serious mistakes. Massie then turned to another document involving businessman Les Wexner. He claimed Wexner's name had originally been redacted from a document that described alleged co-conspirators before later being restored. Massie questioned why the redaction happened in the first place and suggested the public deserved an explanation. Bondi rejected the suggestion that the department was hiding information. She responded that Wexner's name appeared thousands of times throughout the released records and insisted the redaction had been corrected within about 40 minutes after it was identified. She argued that portraying the incident as evidence of a cover-up was. The exchange quickly became increasingly tense. Massie repeatedly reclaimed his time, insisting Bondi was avoiding his questions, while Bondi argued she should be allowed to fully answer. The disagreement escalated into interruptions from both sides, with the committee chair attempting to restore order. Massie expanded his criticism beyond a single administration. He argued that the handling of the Epstein investigation represented a failure spanning multiple administrations and questioned why records relating to charging decisions involving individuals named in the files had not been released. Bondi responded by emphasizing that prosecutors pursue cases based on credible evidence and encouraged any victims with additional information to contact the FBI. she rejected the allegation that the department was participating in a deliberate cover-up. As emotions continued to rise, the discussion shifted away from the documents themselves and into personal attacks, making it difficult for either side to fully develop its arguments before the hearing moved on. From a democratic perspective, this exchange also highlights the importance of government transparency and accountability. While lawmakers across the political spectrum have demanded greater disclosure in the Epstein investigation, Democrats have generally argued that any release of records must also protect victims' privacy and avoid exposing confidential information that could cause further harm. It's important to note that several of the allegations made during this exchange, including claims about specific individuals, redactions, and alleged co-conspirator status, were disputed during the hearing and were not resolved in the session itself. Ultimately, this confrontation underscored the continuing public demand for answers about the Epstein investigation, while also exposing deep disagreements over how much information should be released, how victims should be protected, and whether the Justice Department has met its obligations to both transparency and justice.